signs your cat sees spirits and protects you from them. The chilling truth. You know that moment when your cat suddenly stops, stares at an empty corner, and refuses to look away? What if I told you that in that exact moment, something profound is happening? Something that connects the ancient world with your modern home, something that reveals your cat isn't just a pet, but a guardian who chose you for reasons deeper than you ever imagined? If you enjoy meaningful stories and spiritual insights about cats, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Have you ever walked into a room and found your cat sitting perfectly still in the hallway, eyes fixed on absolutely nothing? The air feels different, heavier perhaps, or strangely quiet. You call their name, but they don't respond. Their pupils are wide, their body tense, and every fiber of their being is focused on something you cannot see. You're not imagining things, and your cat isn't crazy. For thousands of years, across cultures separated by oceans and centuries, humans have observed the same mysterious behavior. In ancient Egypt, cats were revered not merely as companions, but as sacred beings who could walk between worlds. They were believed to see what humans could not: energies, presences, the thin veil that separates the physical realm from something beyond. In Japanese folklore, cats were thought to have supernatural awareness, able to sense spirits and protect their homes from unseen forces. Even in medieval Europe, despite darker superstitions, many believed cats possessed an otherworldly perception. But here's what matters. These weren't just myths or primitive beliefs. They were observations, consistent, repeated observations of behavior that transcends culture, time, and geography. Today, we can explore this mystery through two lenses that don't contradict each other, but rather complement one another beautifully. Science tells us that cats possess sensory abilities far beyond our own. They can hear frequencies up to 64 kilohertz, almost 2 octaves higher than humans. They can detect the slightest vibrations through their whiskers and paw pads. Their eyes contain a reflective layer called the tapetum lucidum, allowing them to see in light levels 6 times lower than what we need. They perceive movement and subtle changes in their environment that we simply cannot register. But sensitivity to the physical world doesn't exclude sensitivity to something more. It may, in fact, enable it. When your cat stares at that empty corner, several things could be happening simultaneously. Perhaps they're detecting a draft you can't feel, hearing a sound you can't register, or seeing the tiniest insect moving in the shadows. This is real. This is documented. But consider this. What if those extraordinary physical senses also make them sensitive to energies and presences that exist just outside our perception? What if the same biology that allows them to hear a mouse's heartbeat also attunes them to vibrations of a different kind? You've felt it yourself, haven't you? That moment when you walk into a room and something just feels off. You can't explain it, there's no logical reason, but your body knows, your intuition speaks. Now imagine possessing senses 5, 10, 20 times more refined than that. Imagine what you might perceive. Your cat experiences the world in a spectrum of awareness we can barely comprehend. And when they fix their gaze on seemingly nothing, they're not confused, they're not bored. They're perceiving, they're witnessing, they're present to something real. And here's what moves me most deeply. In that moment of fixed attention, your cat rarely shows fear. Watch closely next time. You might see alertness, intense focus, even protective tension, but not terror, not panic, because they're not powerless observers. They're doing something. They're fulfilling a role they seem to understand instinctively, even if we don't. Think about your own cat for a moment. How many times have you noticed them staring intently at a doorway, a corner, a space behind you? How did it make you feel? Did you dismiss it, laugh it off, or did something deeper stir inside you? A recognition that perhaps, just perhaps, there's more happening in your home than meets the eye. I want you to share your experience in the comments below. Describe the moment, the feeling, what your cat did. I read every single comment, and I'll respond to yours because your story matters. Your connection with your cat matters, and you deserve to understand what's really happening. The fixed gaze is a language. It's communication. Your cat is telling you, I see what you cannot see. I'm aware of what you cannot sense, and I'm here. I'm watching. I'm present. This isn't a burden for them. This is their nature. This is, in many ways, their purpose. But the gaze is just the beginning. It's the first sign, the opening of a door into a deeper understanding of who your cat really is and why they came into your life. Because what I'm about to share with you next reveals something even more profound. Something that happens not when your cat simply sees, but when they actively choose to stand between you and what they perceive. It's the moment observation becomes action, the moment awareness becomes protection. And it happens at the exact time you need it most, even when you don't realize you need it at all. When they stand between you and the unseen. Your cat always knows when something isn't right. Maybe you've noticed it during a restless night when anxiety kept you awake, or after a difficult conversation that left the air in your home feeling thick and heavy. Maybe it was when a visitor left and the energy they brought still seemed to linger in the corners of your rooms. In those moments, your cat doesn't just observe, they act. There's a profound difference between a cat who's simply watching and a cat who's actively protecting. The first is curiosity, the second is purpose. And when you learn to recognize this distinction, you begin to see your cat in an entirely new light, not as a passive observer of your life, but as an active participant in your well-being. Let me paint you a picture. You're sitting on your couch, reading or scrolling through your phone, when suddenly your cat walks into the room. But they don't come to you. Instead, they position themselves between you and the doorway, or between you and a specific corner. Their body language shifts, their spine arches slightly, their tail becomes thick, the fur standing on end. Their ears rotate, listening, and they stay there, planted like a sentinel, refusing to move. This isn't random behavior, this is intention. From a purely instinctive perspective, cats are territorial creatures. They naturally patrol their domain and respond to perceived threats. This is real, documented animal behavior. But here's where it becomes fascinating. Why do so many cats position themselves specifically between their human and a particular space? Not in front of the space, not beside their human, but precisely in between, creating a physical barrier with their own body. This protective positioning reveals something remarkable. Your cat isn't just reacting to their environment, they're reacting to their connection with you. They've assessed a situation, sensed something that feels disharmonious or unsettling, and made a choice. The choice to stand as a buffer. To place themselves in the path of whatever energy they're perceiving. Think about that for a moment. Your cat, who could easily walk away, hide, or ignore the situation entirely, instead chooses to put themselves between you and potential discomfort. That's not instinct alone. That's devotion. In many spiritual traditions, this behavior is understood as energetic protection. The belief is that cats can sense when dense, heavy, or chaotic energies enter a space, whether from a person, a memory, or something less tangible, and they respond by creating a boundary. Their presence, their physical form, becomes a filter or a shield. But you don't have to adopt any particular belief system to recognize the pattern. You just have to watch, to witness. To notice that this behavior isn't occasional, it's consistent, purposeful, and remarkably common across millions of homes worldwide. Now, let me share another sign with you. One that happens when the world sleeps, but your cat remains awake. How many times have you woken up in the middle of the night, maybe to use the bathroom, maybe just stirring from a dream, and found your cat walking slowly through your home? Not playing, not hunting, just walking. Room to room, checking corners, sniffing doorways, pausing at thresholds, and then eventually returning to your bedroom, sometimes sitting at the foot of your bed or curling up beside you with a deep, rumbling purr. This is what I call the midnight patrol, and it's far more significant than you might think. Cats are crepuscular by nature, meaning they're most active during dawn and dusk. But this nocturnal behavior is different. It's methodical. It's deliberate. They're not searching for food or entertainment. They're inspecting, and in spiritual understanding, they're doing something even more profound. They're cleansing. The concept exists across traditions. The idea that spaces accumulate energy throughout the day. Emotions, interactions, thoughts, all of these leave imprints. And while we sleep, vulnerable and unconscious, our cats take it upon themselves to move through our homes, using their presence, their purr, their very being to restore balance. They rub against doorframes and corners, marking territory, yes, but also, from an energetic perspective, consecrating space, reclaiming it, making it safe again. The purr itself is extraordinary. Science has shown that cats purr at frequencies between 25 and 150 hertz, frequencies that promote healing in bones and tissues, reduce stress, and regulate emotional states. This is measurable. This is real. But consider what else vibration can do. How sound can shift the feeling of a room. How a song can change your entire mood in seconds. Your cat's purr is a frequency of restoration, and they offer it freely, especially during those quiet hours when you're most vulnerable. Have you ever woken to find your cat staring at you from across the room or lying protectively near your head? Have you noticed them making their rounds at night, checking every room as if following an invisible checklist? Share your experience below. Tell me what you've witnessed, because these aren't coincidences. These are patterns, and your story adds to a tapestry of understanding that spans the entire world. While you rest, someone watches over you. While you dream, someone ensures your space remains clear and protected. Your cat doesn't expect recognition. They don't need your thanks, though they certainly deserve it. They do this because something deep within them, call it instinct, call it purpose, call it love, compels them to. This is the quiet heroism of cats. Not loud, not dramatic, just constant, just faithful, just present. But there's something even more powerful than protection. Something that goes beyond blocking negative energy or patrolling your home at night. It's the moment when your cat doesn't just guard you from what's harmful, they actively transform it. They take something heavy and make it light. They take something painful and offer comfort so profound it feels like medicine. And you've already experienced this, even if you didn't understand what was happening in that moment. The purr that heals invisible wounds. There's a moment that happens between you and your cat that defies simple explanation. You're sitting alone, feeling the weight of a difficult day pressing down on your chest. Maybe you've received bad news. Maybe you're grieving a loss. Maybe anxiety has wrapped itself around your thoughts and you can't seem to breathe deeply anymore. You haven't called your cat, you haven't made a sound. But suddenly, there they are. They jump onto your lap, or curl beside you on the bed, or press their small, warm body against your leg. And then they begin to purr. Not the casual purr of contentment, but something deeper. Something that vibrates through your entire body. And somehow, impossibly, you begin to feel lighter. They always know, don't they? This isn't projection. This isn't wishful thinking. This is one of the most documented and consistent experiences shared by cat guardians across the world. Cats appear precisely when we need them most, without being summoned, without obvious cues, as if responding to a call we didn't know we made. Science offers us a beautiful foundation to understand part of this mystery. Research has shown that a cat's purr operates at frequencies between 25 and 150 hertz. These specific frequencies have been studied for their therapeutic effects on the human body. They can promote bone density and healing. They lower stress hormones like cortisol. They regulate heart rate and blood pressure. They trigger the release of endorphins, our body's natural pain relievers. This is measurable. This is documented in medical literature. Your cat's purr is, quite literally, healing frequency. But here's where it becomes profound. How do they know when to offer it? You might be sitting in a room full of people, appearing perfectly fine on the surface, yet internally struggling with sadness or fear. Your cat doesn't see your smile. They sense beneath it. They feel the shift in your energy, the change in your breathing, the subtle tension in your muscles, perhaps even the chemical changes in your body. And they respond not with words, but with presence, not with advice, but with vibration. In spiritual traditions across the world, sound and vibration are understood as powerful forces of transformation. Mantras, singing bowls, chanting. All of these practices use repetitive sound to shift consciousness and restore balance. Your cat's purr functions in remarkably similar ways. It's a natural, instinctive offering of vibrational medicine, and they give it freely, asking nothing in return except perhaps the privilege of being close to you. Think about the last time you were truly hurting and your cat appeared. What did that moment feel like? Did their presence change something in you, even if just slightly? I want to hear your story. Comment below and share the moment your cat showed up when you needed them most. I promise I'll read it and I'll respond, because these experiences deserve to be witnessed and honored. Now let me share with you another sign, one that reveals just how sensitive your cat is to the energies around you. Have you ever noticed that after certain people visit your home, your cat behaves differently? Maybe someone stopped by, a friend, a family member, even a repair person, and after they left, your cat immediately begins moving through every room. They rub against furniture. They brush their face along door frames and corners. They might even seem slightly agitated or unusually focused, as if they're working on something important. And then, only after they've completed this circuit through your home, they come to you. They check on you specifically. They might sniff you, rub against your legs, or simply sit nearby, watching you with those knowing eyes. This is what I call the cleansing ritual after visitors. And it's far more common than you might think. From a behavioral perspective, cats mark their territory with scent glands located on their cheeks, paws, and tail base. When another person enters their space, foreign scents are introduced, and the cat naturally works to restore their familiar scent profile. This is established feline behavior. But observe more closely. Notice that this behavior intensifies after certain visitors more than others. Notice that your cat seems particularly focused on areas where that person spent the most time. Notice that they return to you afterward, as if completing a protective circle. Many who study energy and spiritual awareness believe that people carry their own energetic signatures, the accumulation of their emotions, intentions, and state of being. When someone enters your home, they leave traces of this energy behind, like invisible fingerprints. Your cat, with their heightened sensitivity, perceives these imprints. And if those energies feel dense, chaotic, or simply incompatible with the harmony of your home, your cat sets about neutralizing them. They're not being paranoid. They're not overreacting. They're maintaining the sanctuary of your shared space. They're ensuring that your home remains a place of peace, safety, and positive energy. And they do this work quietly, without fanfare, because this is part of their sacred contract with you. Here's something I've learned from reading thousands of comments and messages from people around the world. Cats often react most strongly after visits from individuals who are struggling emotionally, even if those individuals appear perfectly fine on the surface. A friend going through a hidden crisis. A family member carrying unspoken resentment. Someone dealing with anxiety or depression they haven't shared openly. Your cat picks up on what's beneath the social mask. And while they may not reject that person, in fact, some cats will approach such individuals with extra gentleness. They do recognize the need to clear the residual energy once that person leaves. This isn't judgment. It's maintenance. It's care. It's love in action. And this brings me to something crucial I want you to understand. Your cat's protective and healing work isn't one-sided. They give so much, but they also need something from you in return. Not payment, not obligation, but recognition, appreciation, and most importantly, the creation of an environment where they feel safe, respected and honored for who they truly are. You can support your cat's well-being by maintaining a calm home environment, by respecting their need for quiet spaces and alone time, by speaking to them with gentleness, even when they can't understand your words, because they absolutely understand your tone, your intention, your energy. You can offer gratitude, even silently, acknowledging the invisible work they do, because gratitude itself is an energy, and your cat feels it. The protection your cat offers isn't dramatic. It doesn't come with thunderous declarations or obvious heroics. It's quiet. It's consistent. It's woven into the fabric of your daily life so seamlessly that you might take it for granted. But it's there, every single day, in the purr that calms your nervous system, in the midnight patrol that clears your home, in the body they place between you and discomfort, in the way they appear exactly when your heart needs comfort most. Your cat doesn't need superpowers. They're already extraordinary in what they do. And they do it all out of a bond that transcends the simple relationship between human and animal. But there's one more sign I need to share with you. The rarest one, the deepest one. It's the moment that happens when you stop thinking about your cat as a pet and start recognizing them as something else entirely. It's the instant when you look into their eyes and feel something ancient looking back at you. Something wise. Something that seems to carry knowledge beyond this lifetime. And in that moment, everything changes. Because you finally understand a truth that's been waiting for you all along. They didn't end up in your life by accident. The sacred bond that chose you. What if I told you that you didn't choose your cat? What if instead they chose you? I know that sounds strange at first. After all, you were the one who went to the shelter, or answered the ad, or opened your door to a stray. You made the conscious decision to bring them home. But stay with me here, because what I'm about to share might shift everything you thought you understood about your relationship with your cat. There's a moment that happens between cat and human that's difficult to put into words. You're going about your day, and suddenly you glance over at your cat. They're already looking at you. And when your eyes meet, something passes between you. It's not just recognition, it's deeper than affection. It feels like being seen, truly seen, by someone who knows you beyond your name, beyond your story, beyond even this lifetime. Their eyes seem ancient, knowing. And for just a second, you feel a connection so profound, it almost takes your breath away. Have you felt this? That moment when looking into your cat's eyes feels less like looking at an animal and more like encountering a presence? A consciousness that seems to exist outside of time? This is what I call the ancient eyes. And it's perhaps the most mysterious sign of all. Throughout history, mystics and spiritual teachers have spoken about the concept of old souls, beings who carry wisdom accumulated across lifetimes, who incarnate with specific purposes and missions. In many traditions, animals, particularly cats, are believed to be such souls. They come with intention, with purpose, with a mission that serves something greater than mere survival or companionship. Think about how your cat came into your life. Was it really just coincidence? Or was there something about the timing, the circumstances, the way it all unfolded that felt almost orchestrated? Maybe you weren't even looking for a cat, but one found you. Maybe you went to adopt a different cat, but this particular one insisted on your attention. These aren't random events. These are patterns that repeat in millions of stories across the world. And patterns point to something real. Your cat sees you in ways others cannot. They witness your 3 a.m. anxiety. They observe your private tears. They sense when you're pretending to be strong but crumbling inside. And they respond. Not because they're trained to, but because something within them recognizes something within you. Let me share with you one final sign. One that reveals just how deep this connection goes. Have you ever noticed your cat waiting by the door minutes before you arrive home? Not occasionally, but consistently, even when you come home at unexpected times. Or perhaps you've been physically ill and your cat began behaving strangely hours before you even felt the first symptom. They stayed close. They refused to leave your side, almost as if they were preparing to help you through something you didn't yet know was coming. This is intuitive anticipation, and it defies simple explanation. Scientists might point to your cat's ability to detect subtle changes, shifts in your scent, patterns in your routine. And yes, these factors are real. But they don't fully explain how cats know when their human is returning from an unscheduled trip. They don't explain how they sense emotional crises before they manifest. There's something else at work here, a connection that transcends physical proximity and linear time. Call it energetic bonding. Call it love that operates on frequencies we don't yet have instruments to measure. Whatever name you give it, it's real. You've experienced it. Your cat isn't just responding to your energy. They're woven into it. They're part of your field, your experience, your journey. They're here to protect you, to heal you, but also to awaken something within you, to remind you that you're not alone, to show you that consciousness and love extend far beyond what you've been taught to believe is possible. This is why your cat sees spirits and energies you cannot perceive. Not because they're strange or supernatural, but because they exist in a state of awareness that's more open, more attuned to the full spectrum of reality. They haven't been taught to doubt their perceptions. They simply experience, trust, and respond. So how do you honor this sacred bond? Create spaces in your home that belong to your cat. Respect their work. When they're staring intently at something you can't see, acknowledge it. Thank them silently. When they position themselves between you and a doorway, recognize it as protection. When they appear during your difficult moments, accept their comfort. Speak to them with respect and love. Tell them you see them. Tell them you appreciate them. Your cat doesn't understand English, but they absolutely understand intention. They feel your gratitude. Most importantly, trust them. When your cat alerts you to something, pay attention. They're not being difficult. They're doing exactly what they came here to do. Imagine that hallway from the beginning of our journey. Your cat, sitting in the darkness, staring at what seems like nothing. But now you understand. It's not darkness. It's a space being protected. It's not nothing. It's something you cannot see, but your cat can. And it's not loneliness. It's vigilance. It's love. It's purpose. The next time you see your cat staring into the void, or positioning themselves between you and a door, or appearing at your side during a moment of pain, pause, breathe deeply, and recognize what's really happening. You're being loved in a way that transcends language. You're being protected by someone who sees both the visible and the invisible. Your cat sees spirits, yes, and they protect you from energies that would disturb your peace. But more than that, they're here to remind you of a profound truth. You are never, ever truly alone. There's a presence beside you, a small, fierce, infinitely wise presence who chose you before you even knew you needed choosing. Not out of obligation, not from blind instinct, but from a bond that was written before either of you took your first breath in this lifetime. That's the chilling truth. Not frightening, not ominous, but awe-inspiring, humbling, sacred. You were chosen by a guardian of thresholds, a walker between worlds, a healer of invisible wounds. And that guardian loves you with a purity and constancy that asks for nothing except the honor of remaining by your side. If this message resonated with your heart, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, because there are more stories to share, more mysteries to explore, more ways to deepen your understanding of the extraordinary being you share your life with. Thank you for being here. Thank you for loving your cat. And thank you for being open to seeing them for who they truly are. Honor your guardian, trust their wisdom, and remember, you are so deeply, profoundly loved.